Previously on GameHammer Daily. What a fantastic game. I have to admit, it's not quite as good as Metal Slug 3, which is the one that I started with, but then again, not much is as good as Metal Slug 3. And now... Report!
General Morden is back and he's attacking the game room, Captain.
That's not good news.
I don't think anyone's going to argue with that, Captain.
There's only one way out of this mess. Load Metal Slug 3! In Metal Slug 2, we fought the forces of General Morden and foiled his ghastly plans to take over the world. He teamed up with a buttload of alien monsters to achieve his plans, and we kicked their backsides. It was a good time. Oh, and if all of that talk about aliens in an army shooter isn't too much for you, then I suggest you tap out now, because Morden is back, and so are the aliens. And this time they've brought zombies with them. Oh my goodness! It's all very weird, very wacky, and very good fun. Originally released for the Neo Geo in arcades, Metal Slug 3 has been ported to the PS2, the Xbox, the Wii, the Switch, and the PC. It's had quite a life after its arcade origins. You get to play as one of 4 characters, each with their own look, but mostly with the same play style. You also get the chance to choose your own path to the boss through several branching routes on each level. It's a nice addition, and it adds a lot of replay value. Which path you prefer will ultimately depend on the enemies and items you're most likely to encounter on each path. I have my preferences, you'll have yours, but since we all end up at the same boss fight, it's really just a case of choosing which route you know you can beat so that you can get through the game, or, if you're more adventurous, finding a new path and seeing how many times you die before you get to the end of it. But on your way, do remember to pick up the weapons that you prefer. For me, it's always the heavy machine gun, because it's awesome, and also to rescue as many of the POWs as you can, since they give you bonus points at the end of the level, and occasionally drop nice items. So we start the game as we mean to go on, with a full frontal assault of the enemy base. Which enemy? The aliens. Morden's old allies have established a beachhead, and you're going to have to battle your way through them if you want to save the Earth. While playing through this stage, you'll see that the controls are exactly the same as in the previous Metal Slug games. They work very nicely, although I'm still not able to get to grips with shooting diagonally. I don't know what it is, I just can't do it in this game. You can actually shoot diagonally, I've seen it happen. It's just a bit tricky to get used to, thanks to the game's reliance on the D-pad, rather than full analog controls. Anyway, once you get through the first wave of enemies, you enter a boat section, which is a lot of fun. Leap from enemy boat to enemy boat, fighting Morden's troops and dodging bombs that are dropped on parachutes. It's a huge amount of fun, and the weird crab tank at the end of the stage is an excellent boss fight. I cannot overemphasize how much fun this stage is. It's frenetic, it's inventive, and it's just plain fun. This is Metal Slug at its best, in my view. After you defeat the boss, you come to Mission 2. Now, I will admit, when I first played this game, Mission 2 was by far the one I disliked the most. It slows the pace of the game down a lot compared to the first mission, and I didn't feel the zombies fit with the story. After playing the game through multiple times since then, however, I have to say the slower pace for this mission still irks me. But my other complaints are pretty much gone. The style is cool, the music is amazing, and the way your character can turn into a zombie when they're killed is actually quite inventive. I adore the beam effect range attack you get as a zombie as well. It's very useful in killing multiple enemies at once, which helps you to keep going through the level at a more reasonable pace. The boss battle on this mission is just plain weird though. Multiple giant, ugly looking aliens floating in a circle and giant tombstones falling from the sky. It's one of the oddest things I've ever seen in gaming for a very long time. And I'm not kidding, just look how weird these things are. Anyway, after that, we get a cool underwater section with a tiny submarine. The animation and graphics are great, they continue to be exceptional. The Lean Claire inspired style on these games is nothing short of perfection. Sadly, the controls aren't. You can either move or change the direction that your sub's cannons fire in, but not both. this section could really do with an upgrade to be a twin-stick shooter. But after that, you get into a platform section in a warehouse, which is more run-and-gun action like the rest of the game, and it's still just as good as ever. The boss battle with a giant robot is also fantastic. Next up, it's a desert battle, followed by a building full of the piranha plants from the Mario games, which is just weird. What are they doing here? But the boss fight this time is against a giant floating stone head, which shoots diamonds out of a gem in its forehead. Very strange. It's just as weird as it sounds, but once you get the hang of the attack pattern, it is actually a simple fight. Next up is great. We have a flying mission where the little aeroplane you're in is just as annoying to control as the submarine. And again, this needs to be a twin-stick shooter, but get through it and you'll get to the launch pad for Morden's space program. Yeah, he's got a space program, and this is where things get more interesting. Suddenly, the game is a vertically scrolling shooter and it is amazing. Of all the levels, this is my favourite by far. I'm a real lover of vertical shooters. When your ship inevitably explodes, because I might love these shooters, but I'm not that good at them, you will get out of it and kick ass in a spacesuit instead. It's fantastic, it just keeps the action going. Once you defeat the giant spaceship at the end of this mission, it's time to take the fight to the alien menace. You're deep in enemy territory now, so get ready for lots of weird aliens that look fantastic. One of them is basically a Poundland Dalek with a brain in the jar on top of it, and I love it. So let's fight our way through these alien monsters until we reach the final twist in the tale, because it turns out that Morden's forces aren't all on his side this time. After spending so long seeing their leader cozy up to monsters from outer space, some of them have joined forces with you, and now you've got allies to assist you in your assault on the alien leader. They're not actually all that useful to you, but it's nice they tried, you know? And when you finally reach the giant alien brain monster that's leading the enemy assault, they will be about as useful as a snowball in a gunfight, so you're going to have to blow this thing up yourself. But isn't that what all of these games are about anyway? So it's not like you weren't expecting this, were you? Give it a good kicking and you'll save the world once more. It's been a hell of a ride, hasn't it? Anyway, this is by far the best Metal Slug game in the whole series as far as I'm concerned. It's just a shame that Morden would keep coming back for more, really, isn't it? Which reminds me, I need to give that guy what for, since he's invading the Earth again. So, cartoon powers, activate!
Mission start.
Morden, stop invading the Earth. It's naughty.
Make me.
Very well, you leave me no choice.
Mission complete.
Well, that was a disappointment.
That wasn't even my final form.
Well, that's unexpected. This calls for something special. By the power of Game Nerd, I have the GameHammer! Hi-ya!
Mission complete. For real this time.
Whew, my goodness, that was a bit of intensity, wasn't it? If you like the show, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It really does help create future videos. That's patreon.com/Zoe Kirk Robinson. And I've got an extra special thanks going out to Chief89, Sam Yates, Retro Mickey 82, Mo Henry, and George Botterini. Thank you so much, guys.